I've spent my life, as you know, advocating for the sanctity of life. And in addition to ending abortion, we have to work to give every child the opportunity to live the American dream.
Abortion bans are also really systemic discrimination and in many cases racism in action.
Republicans and Democrats respond to a Supreme Court draft opinion that shows justices are ready to overturn Roe v. Wade. Well, Chief Justice John Roberts today confirmed the draft is authentic, but says it doesn't represent a final decision by the court or the final position of any judge.
So in a statement released tonight, Roberts said to the extent this betrayal of the confidences of the court was intended to undermine the integrity of our operations, it will not succeed. The work of the court will not be affected in any way. He says draft opinions are routinely circulated internally as part of the court's deliberations. Roberts has directed the marshal of the court to launch an investigation into the source of the leak, President Biden, expressing his concern if the draft ends up being the final ruling.
The idea that it concerns me a great deal that we're going to, after 50 years, decide a woman does not have a right to choose within the limits of the Supreme Court decision in cases, number one. But even more, equally as profound is the rationale used. And it would mean that every other decision relating to the notion of privacy is thrown into question.
News 8's Demi Johnson now joins us live from downtown from the federal courthouse, where people are already protesting the potential ruling.
Hey guys, I'm going to move away from the group a little bit because it's hard to hear, but I have two different people here from two different sides of the argument. I'm going to start right now with Chelsea Faso, who is a doctor. She's here with a big group. She's going to tell us a little bit about who her group is and why you guys are here.
So I'm a family medicine physician. We are here as a collective of physicians that are here to say that abortion is health care, abortion is safe. We cannot rely on the courts to protect us. And we see that abortion bans or abortion restrictions are unsafe. We want to also say that abortion is still legal and we have the right to keep it that way. If anyone is looking for an abortion, abortion is still legal. Look for resources in your community. Despite what happens over the next upcoming months, we will make sure that you will have the care that you need and the care that everyone deserves.
Thank you so much. We're going to move on now to another person. This is Mary Carmen. She is with the other group. Remind me who your group is, what you guys are here for, and who you represent.
We are Students for Life of America, so we are the largest, most active youth pro-life organization in the country. We are here to represent the truth of the pro-life movement, that I, as a woman, I somehow am not liberated unless I have this ability to kill my child. That's false. So I do not get freedom from the right to an abortion because we do not have a right to kill. That's not empowering me as a woman. It's actually degrading me. The pro-abortion movement says that we as women somehow cannot succeed. We can't advance in our career or education unless we have the ability to kill our children. That's misogyny, that's degrading, and that's false. We have built an entire ecosystem of support for women in unexpected pregnancies, and the idea that we need to kill our children to get freedom, that's not freedom, that's just oppression merely redistributed.
Thank you so much. We're told that groups from both pro-life and pro-choice, this is only just the beginning for them. They have more protests planned tomorrow. We'll be sure to stay on top of them and bring those both on Wish TV and WishTV.com for you. For now, live in Indianapolis, Demi Johnson, Wish TV, WishTV.com, and follow us on Facebook.
Demi, thank you. Meanwhile, very differing opinions from two members of Congress from Indiana, not only on the opinion, but what should happen if Roe v. Wade is overturned.
If the Supreme Court does indeed strike down Roe v. Wade, it will be one of the largest restrictions of rights in decades. You know, the Republican appointed justices, their draft opinion to overturn Roe v. Wade would go down really as an abomination, quite frankly. One of the worst and most damaging decisions in modern history.
My prayer is that the courts absolutely overturn Roe v. Wade, but the court has to speak for itself without facing intimidation. And I think, what I'm hearing from my folks is even the Supreme Court, that, we can't just let this go through the system. The radical liberal left has a pattern of throwing years of longstanding decorum out the window when their point of view is threatened. And we just saw that happen.
Jackie Walorski hopes Indiana, she says, leads the way in quick action if, in fact, Roe v. Wade is overturned under Carson, wants Congress to take action to legalize abortion nationwide. Meanwhile, Senator Mike Braun issuing a statement saying, in part, if the leaked opinion is accurate, then today is a landmark day for the sanctity of human life in our country. I am 100% pro-life and pray it is true that the Supreme Court will follow through and save countless lives.
All right, let's bring in News 8 political reporter Garrett Berquist now. Now, Garrett, you talked with plenty of state lawmakers that are already considering a ban on abortion right here in Indiana.
That's right. House and Senate Republicans already have called on Governor Eric Holcomb to call a special session if Roe v. Wade is overturned. But one leading Democrat says that's a slippery slope. House Speaker Todd Huston was among those who called for a special session. He issued a statement today saying the vast majority of House Republicans, including myself, have been abundantly clear that we want to take action to further protect life should the U.S. Supreme Court overturn in full or in part Roe. Senate President Pro Tem Rod Bray says a leak on an issue of this magnitude is certainly surprising. But if it is true that this is the direction the court is headed, it is good news and suggests Indiana will be in a position to improve our record as a strong defender of life. Senate Minority Leader Greg Taylor says he's deeply disturbed by the draft ruling. He says it could imperil a number of decisions based on the 14th Amendment. He also says calling a special session over a court ruling subverts the will of voters.
We could see the special session coming up just for one particular issue, which is not what the Indiana Constitution calls for. It asks us to come in at a certain period of time to make laws that are germane to the entire state and then go home and be with our constituents and listen to and talk about their issues. But it's become, again, since we have supermajority rule here in Indiana, it's going to become another way to get different laws changed without having to go through a general session.
A lot of this turns on Governor Eric Holcomb. He said today, before further commenting on a leaked draft document out of the Supreme Court, like the rest of the country, I'll wait to review the official and final decision they release on the matter in the few weeks and months ahead. The governor has never officially taken a position on whether or not to call a special session. Garrett Bergquist, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
Garrett, thank you. Our routine coverage continues tonight with IT-Mate's Richard Essex. Richard, you've been researching what happens in Indiana if Roe v. Wade is overturned. What'd you find?
Well, if the leaked version or some version of it stands, it will not make abortion illegal here in Indiana. 22 states have some version of a law outlawing most or all abortions if Roe versus Wade is overturned. Indiana is not one of them.
Basically, what this opinion does is it turns the abortion decision back to the states. It does not walk a middle road.
Roe versus Wade came back to the Supreme Court after a challenge to the law in the state of Mississippi that banned abortion after 15 weeks. Dr. Jody Madura of the Indiana University School of Law in Bloomington says it is impossible to predict if the leaked decision written by Justice Alito is the final version.
Alito can be very hard on opinions that he does not like, and in this opinion, he calls Roe basically a legal fraud. He intends this as the opening salvo in a cultural war.
One of the biggest anti-abortion voices in Indiana has been Kurt Smith of the Indiana Family Institute.
So it's a remarkable reversal of a 49-year mistake.
The leaked ruling would send the abortion debate back to individual states. Smith says Indiana has been at odds with Roe versus Wade since the initial Supreme Court ruling.
Our legislature and our citizens have been at odds with Roe v. Wade since it was issued in 1973, so freedom in Indiana has grown today.
I went to the Planned Parenthood office on North Meridian this afternoon and was given the number of an administrative office. We left a message but have not heard back. Emily Wells is the interim CEO of Great Plains Planned Parenthood office in Oklahoma. She says her office has been planning for the day that the Supreme Court overturns Roe versus Wade.
There is something empowering about being able to say out loud, this is what's happening. The Supreme Court is going to overturn Roe. It seems very clear in the draft decision that's the plan. And so now we mobilize and push back and fight for our patients.
Several abortion rights groups have been using social media today to spread the word that abortions are still legal in Indiana, and that if you are still seeking to get one and have an appointment, you should not cancel your appointment. At the State House, Richard Essex, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
Thank you. We continue our team coverage tonight with News 8's multicultural reporter Katira Winfrey.
Now, Katira, you spent time today digging into these numbers on women who actually already use abortion rights right now in the state of Indiana.
Absolutely, Jasmine and Filma. Indiana accounts for about 0.9% of abortions in the United States. That's according to the CDC. And organizers say no matter what side of the debate you're on, it's important to have facts. And in this case, data. An estimated 75% of overall abortion patients are considered poor or low income, according to the Guttmacher Institute, an agency focused on research and policy related to sexual and reproductive health. But the full abortion access breakdown is broad, impacting communities of multiple ethnic, education, and economic backgrounds. According to the CDC in Indiana, about 51% of abortions patients are white, 31% are black, and 9% Hispanic. People in the early to mid-20s are also more likely to undergo the procedure.
You know, people try to other folks and they say this is an urban issue or this is a rural issue. Well, guess what? This is an Indiana issue.
3 out of 5 Hoosiers know someone who's accessed abortion care, which isn't surprising because across the country, 1 out of 4 women will have had an abortion in their lifetime.
And the ACLU of Indiana recently launched Let's Talk About Abortion. It's a campaign that organizers say provides a breakdown of data. And the ACLU also says another part of the campaign is a conversation guide. People can use it to expand discussion with their friends and family. Reporting in the studio, I'm Wish TV News 8's multicultural reporter, Katira Winfrey.